It's just a simple thread, something we've all probably seen, but have you ever really thought about it? Well, this single object, the surgical suture, has one of the most complex and critical stories in all of modern medicine. It's a story packed with advanced science, some really surprising economics, and even a life-or-death struggle against scarcity. So let's unravel this thing together. First things first, before we get into the nuts and bolts, or I guess the threads and needles, we have to understand the human stakes here. This isn't just another item on a hospital supply list. For so many people, it is literally the one thing standing between a successful surgery and, well, a postponed future. And this just says it all, doesn't it? This quote comes from a report about the healthcare crisis in Cuba. Just try to imagine being that parent or the surgeon or the child waiting 5 long months because one single essential thread couldn't be found. This is the world we're stepping into. A world where the availability of a suture can absolutely change a life. So, what exactly is this little object that holds so much power? I mean, it's easy to just write it off as medical thread, but the science and engineering that's packed into every single one is genuinely fascinating. Let's break it down. At its core, this is what a suture does. It's a medical device that's been used for literally thousands of years to stitch us back together. But today's modern suture, it's a total marvel of material science, designed for incredibly specific jobs inside the human body. Right off the bat, you've got this fundamental split in the world of sutures. You have the absorbable kind, which the body just naturally breaks down on its own, perfect for stitches deep inside you. And then you've got the non-absorbable ones, think nylon or silk, that are used for closing skin. And yep, you have to go back to the doctor to get those removed later. 2 different tools for very, very different jobs. And the specialization goes way deeper than that. The material can be natural or a synthetic polymer like Vicryl. The size, which is measured by this thing called the USP system, ranges from thick cables all the way down to threads finer than a human hair for super delicate eye surgery. And here's the kind of counterintuitive part. The more zeros in the number, the finer the thread. Even the needle and the coating are customized for the exact type of tissue a surgeon's going to be working with. So yeah, a suture is not just one thing. It's a highly engineered piece of medical technology. Okay, so with all that specialization and technology, you're probably guessing they aren't cheap. And you would be right. The cost of these life-saving threads can be, well, genuinely shocking. Take a look at this number, $784. That's the potential price for just one box of a specialized suture called Vicryl Plus, which has a special antibacterial coating to prevent infection. You're not just paying for thread, you're paying for decades of research and development. So what drives a price tag like that? Well, as you can see, it's a whole bunch of things. You've got big brands like Ethicon, all the R&D for advanced materials, the sheer complexity of making those super fine sutures, specialty needles for heart or eye surgery, and of course, those advanced coatings. It all adds up. It's a classic case of supply, demand, and really intense manufacturing. This high-cost, high-tech market has basically created a stark divide. On one side, you have a world of just overwhelming choice, and on the other, a world of desperate scarcity. In a market like the United States, a surgeon has a truly dizzying array of options. I mean, this is just a partial list of all the different brands and types available. It's a world of abundance, where the exact right tool for the job is always just an order away. Now, I want you to hold that image of abundance in your mind for a second. Because this is the other world. This quote describes the situation in Cuba, where a severe shortage has forced doctors to get creative in the most alarming ways imaginable, using buttons instead of sutures. The contrast between these two realities, it just couldn't be more stark. So, what's causing this? The crisis in Cuba is really a perfect storm. The country is dealing with severe financial limitations, and the U.S. embargo, while it does have exceptions for humanitarian aid, creates a bureaucratic nightmare of licensing and banking. That makes it nearly impossible for many to purchase and ship supplies directly. The end result is a broken supply chain that has to depend almost entirely on the generosity of others. But where there's a crisis, there's also a response. And the global community, from huge organizations to small grassroots campaigns, has been mobilizing to try and fill this critical gap. So here's a quick look at some of the recent efforts. You have humanitarian groups like the Pan American Medical Association and Global Links sending aid directly. And on the state level, Cuba has also been forming new partnerships, like this one with China's Mexico, to try and establish a more stable supply line for sutures and other crucial medical gear. Organizations like Global Links are really on the front lines here. In just one delivery,
They were able to hand deliver over 1,000 sutures to hospitals. That single shipment allowed hundreds of postponed surgeries to finally move forward, which just goes to show you the direct and immediate impact this kind of aid can have.
So it really is a multi-pronged effort. It involves everything from these high-level state partnerships to fundraising campaigns that might rely on just a few dollars from everyday people. It even includes efforts organized by Cubans living abroad, like a donation drive from collaborators in Jamaica. Every possible channel is being used to get these essential supplies where they need to go. But even with all this help, you have to understand the need is still incredibly acute. This message from a doctor in Cuba, it says it all. The gratitude is immense, but the request is urgent. These shipments are a lifeline, but they're not a permanent solution. The struggle for this one simple thread continues. And that really brings us to our final thought here. The story of the surgical suture forces us to ask a much broader question. In a world of MRI machines and robotic surgery, what other simple, overlooked supplies are the true pillars of healthcare? What else do we all take for granted without ever realizing that for someone somewhere else, it's the most important object in the world?